Hi everyone, this is Camper Cooking with Chef Paul. We are Americans living in France who have always liked camping and eating well. Like many of you, we bought a camping car after the first pandemic lockdown so we could still travel safely. Chef Paul does most of the food prep at home so we can have more time to explore. He will show you how a classically trained chef prepares great food even with a camper's minimal kitchen, utilizing historical and modern techniques.
I want to make some beef fajitas. This looks like it might be eye of round steak. It just says meat, cow, 2 steaks for grilling, which I know that would be pretty tough, but it wasn't very expensive. I have an idea for an easy beef fajita that I think would work really well for camping. So let's get started. One thing I noticed about this, it seems to have been cut in the right direction, so it has potential to be relatively tender. But I'm going to sous vide it, so I'm not worried about that at all. So I'm just going to cut it into strips like I would for beef fajita. Fajita is a funny word. It's kind of funny to listen to Europeans try to say that word. Maybe they say it right in Spain, I don't know. This should be pretty easy. I want to make the spice mix, so I need to make a chili powder. The number one ingredient in chili powder is salt, which I'm going to use a lot less salt than I would in a normal chili powder because when you sous vide you don't need as much. So I've got maybe a teaspoon. Whole cumin. You can use ground. I'm going to grind this. I just feel like I get fresher flavors when I use whole. Coriander, same thing. Smoked paprika. That's actually the number 2 ingredient in most chili powders. But for me, I'm going to actually use this in kind of equal parts. Can you tell it's been humid here? So I got maybe a teaspoon and a half there, so I went a little heavy. And then cayenne pepper. Black pepper. Again, I'm going to use whole peppercorns. Alright, stand by for some noise. Looks pretty good. Maybe a little more. So I can save the rest of this. Usually if you were making this, you would need to marinate it in some lime juice. I think that's the traditional way. And what that does is the lime juice starts to break down some of the connective tissue and make the meat more tender. But you don't really taste the lime juice in the fajitas when you get them. You taste the chili powder. So I think I'm not going to need that. What I really need is just for it to be tender. So I'm going to sous vide this. So I'm not really worried about making it tender because it's going to be tender. All right, I want to work this in. A little granulated garlic should be in this. And I'm going to add some dried onion as well. Actually, I'm going to add kind of a lot. Dried onion. So I don't want to thoroughly coat this like a dry rub. I want enough to make sure I get plenty of flavor in there, but I don't want to over season it. I don't want too much salt. I don't want so much that it's hard to eat. I think that's going to load up a sous vide bag. And for this, since I'm actually going to cook this today, I probably should have just used a Ziploc bag or something. Save the sous vide bag for later, because the vacuum isn't as important since I'm not going to be trying to preserve this. I think this would work really great for camping. Cut your meat, cut your vegetables, put your vegetables in a bag. You could even vacuum that to buy you a little extra time after you slice them and to keep all the flavor from disappearing. The meat, especially if you do it this way in one of these bags, that buys you kind of a lot of time. Got my fancy sous vide bucket, which, as you know, is just a pretzel bucket. Going to drop my meat in. Need to find my high-tech lid. Super high-tech. And I want 134 degrees. And I want 3 hours. This is so hard to set. Starting to heat. Now, bring my water level up to the max. And that should be good. Actually, I think I want 4 hours. This is so hard to set. I'll check you later. Okay, it's time to cook the fajitas. So I'm gonna turn on the stove, let my oil start getting hot. Slice some peppers and onions. And I'm gonna add some mushrooms just because I have them and they're getting a little long in the tooth. I'd rather eat them than throw them out, and they'll be good in this. Okay, my oil's not hot. I have 2 little pieces of onion in there to see what it's doing. So I'll turn this up to high heat. I want to fry up this meat. Then I'll add some more of it. Okay, I'm done on the cutting board. The reason these vegetables keep missing the pot is that my beer was too far from the pot. These are black beans. I cooked them in the pressure cooker off camera for 20 minutes with a bay leaf, some whole cumin, a bunch of cayenne, and now I just want to have them on medium heat. And I'm going to turn them into refried. And it's just a little dry. Mix that with a little beer. I don't want to puree it too much. I don't mind the chunks of beans, a few whole beans. Don't mind any of that. Okay, this is going to be really my last chance to adjust the seasonings on the beans. It's just a little bland, so I'm going to add some of the leftover chili powder from marinating the beef earlier. And some of my second favorite hot sauce. That was 10 dashes. I'm going to cut up to medium high. Like those are done. Cut it down to low. Turn my beans off since I can give them a little more attention. Check the seasoning. It's pretty good. Check this seasoning and make sure I cook off all that beer. I don't have any salsa, but I do have some jalapenos, which these probably came from Germany because they're really hard to find here. Sometimes you can find them in an Asian market. And some creme fraiche. Found something even better. Some stinky French cheese. This will be a weird thing. I bet it's going to be amazing. I've got my mustard cheese down first, then my beef and vegetables, my black beans, haricot noir, and then just a few jalapenos. I'm good. All right, I think I'm going to eat off camera. See you guys.